our first question, because we know we're going to be touring kind of like the welding program, and these tend to be, some of them are like technical trades and stuff you might complete in 2 years. And we're wondering how like an emphasis on these programs helps put Michigan back to work. How does this help our industry in the state?
Well, career tech ed is absolutely important, and we actually need to emphasize it more. That's one of the reasons I wanted to come to Ferris State. Ferris State's a leader. For example, in the welding program, we're going to see among the best in the country. And we need to get that word out to both young people and to parents, and people looking for that next career about what a great honorable careers these can be.
And do you see that these being careers for kids that are coming straight out of high school, or does this tend to appeal to somebody that might have kind of a midlife career change?
Yes.
Both?
Yes,
okay.
Both. Again, if you think about it, this is an opportunity to really get that skilled trade training so you can get that $50,000 to $80,000 job and have a great lifestyle. So there are a lot of those open jobs in Michigan. Welding in particular, that's something, if you go back to even when I was campaigning back in 2010, I told people, and I got reinforced over and over again, is if you were a welder, you could find a job in Michigan in a matter of days. Mm-hmm. There were so many openings and opportunities for a great, well-paying position.
So obviously this is something that you're putting a pretty big emphasis on as maybe part of your re-election campaign then?
We have a number of things in the budget that's proposed. We have $10 million for skilled trade training to focus in on this. In addition, for community colleges, we set aside $50 million of capital to help reinforce the capital equipment in labs and opportunities for welding labs and other places like that, and $100 million for universities to help with engineering programs. So it's a significant investment, and it's a very important one. I want Michigan to lead the country in career tech education.
So where is all that funding coming from? How are we generating that revenue?
Well, that's part of the good part, that we actually have a budget surplus. So in terms of those resources, that's one of the best areas and highest and best areas that we can reinvest in, because there are open jobs. One thing, if you go to mitalent.org, you'll find there are nearly 70,000 job openings in Michigan, and I believe that's an understated number, particularly in some of these technical fields where if they could hire more than one person, many companies would hire 2 or 3. We're seeing it across the board, and welding's a great illustration. In terms of mechatronics, which are the people that would do running robotics equipment on the production floor or CNC equipment, auto mechanics.
Are there companies that you know that are looking at Michigan for these type of workers, people looking to
Oh,
set up
absolutely.
here?
We've got Michigan companies looking for them. You can, again, if you find it, at the Detroit Auto Show, for example, I met with a number of auto dealers, and just around a table that I was sitting at with lunch, there was probably nearly 100 openings for auto technicians.
Okay. What are some of the other industries that are looking here? Because I know kind of in Michigan the feeling is that the auto industry is maybe looking past us a little bit. Are there other
absolutely.
technologies coming
They're
here?
reconsolidating in Michigan. The auto industry is growing and thriving in Michigan. They're coming back to Michigan because of the climate we've created, plus the strength of the auto industry. But it's happening in multiple fields. Many other kinds of manufacturing. I would say even agriculture. I think there's important opportunities that, again, if you're in the agricultural industry, if you're out on a tractor or a combine, it's much more a skilled trades position in terms of operating a $500,000 piece of equipment, a $200,000 piece of equipment that's GPS
Right.
controlled and such. You need to have the right background and skill sets, and that's something we need to make sure we're helping all sectors of our strong industries in Michigan.
And that will really ring true for our readers, especially because we are a really agriculture-based community. So one of the things that we're wondering, we also tend to be a community that is on the lower end of the income scale. So how do we make Ferris's impact felt in our community when maybe there's barriers to access for that secondary education for people around here?
Well, that's what we're doing. Much of this is, first of all, communicating that the career opportunities are there. If you looked at for the last 20 or 30 years, in many cases we emphasize university degrees. We didn't equally emphasize career tech education, and that was a mistake. That should get the same emphasis as a university degree to people looking for those careers. The next step is we need to make sure that we have good programs that exist and people know where those are. And that's one of the reasons I'm excited to be here at Ferris. Ferris has done a great job in these particular fields, and I want to highlight them.
Sure.
We should be proud of them. We should be talking about them and showing off.
Do you think that that 2-year education is as easy for somebody to attain as a 4-year degree if they still have troubles finding funding for their education?
Well, this is the part that if you have an opportunity to know you have a well-paying job, there's usually ways you can find how to fund that education, and obviously it's easier to pay for 2 years rather than 4. The other thing we're doing though is a program called Matt Squared that we're trying to get introduced across to all of Michigan, which is basically the German apprenticeship model, where someone's sponsored by a company, they start working for a company, they alternate going to school, the company pays for their associate's degree. After 3 years, they come out with an associate's degree, a certificate in the field. Basically, if they're successful, a guaranteed job and a work commitment for 2 years without college debt. That's a great opportunity. And that program's already going in southeastern Michigan, and I want to see it expand all across Michigan.
Who's doing that in our state already?
Henry Ford Community College and Oakland Community College in partnership with a number of companies that are the sponsoring companies.
Okay.
And most of the sponsors are actually German companies. We'll be happy to get you more information. There's 31 students today. We hope to expand it quite a bit next year. We hope to include industrial design and information technology in the program. And we're really working hard now to include the auto mechanics, the auto technicians, because of such a strong need for more people in these well-paying jobs.
Is that something you want to see come here to Ferris?
I want to see in every corner of Michigan. Because isn't that a great outcome where basically you have a path to a well-paying job, you get paid while you go, you know you got something to strive for out there, and you end up in a good position that can be a good career. That's a great outcome.
Going into going into your second term, what are some of the things beyond this that you want to emphasize for bringing kind of some vibrance back to Michigan?
Yeah, well, Michigan is already coming back. We're the comeback state. We've added nearly or more than 250,000 private sector jobs in the last 3 years. Personal income per capita, we were 9th fastest growing in the country. So a lot of good things are already in process, but let's do more. Let's not be complacent about where we're at. Let's go faster. And this is a top priority. This whole issue about helping people get career connected, particularly in the skilled trades, because we have a skills gap, and let's solve that.